The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome, everybody, to another excellent edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host, as we have one more time into the breach, dear friends.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
And the Fed's out with snooze, and that snooze is that they've capitulated. Didn't see much right off the bat when everybody saw the first headlines. It was once they started getting back down into the bonds and treasuries about where they want to hold on to. They had like $1 trillion. They sold off about half of that. Now they've got about $500 billion. And they're going to kind of like, you know what? Come the end of the month, maybe we don't have to sell next month. It's not clear. Hopefully they'll come out with better guidance on what they're actually doing. But they're saying, you know what? We really don't have to sell into that bond market anymore. And I think that's where the real juice. We weren't expecting any interest rates, and we were expecting the change in language about future interest rate hike. What I think that no one was looking at was, or didn't think maybe they would say this time, is that $500 billion of bonds that they want to sell, that they've been selling at, what, 50 or 60? I think it's $60 billion a month at the end of every month. But at the same time, it's not been the first time that the market's gotten exactly the news that it wanted, but then it's going to be scared about why it got the news that it wanted. So generally you want to give about 30 minutes up and down, and then about 3:30 before you start thinking what the market actually is thinking, because generally the first kind of move is wrong, second kind of move kind of wrong. About the third time you get a move after the Fed announcements is probably the right thing to do. But what else do we have going on here? Well, certainly didn't have a lot of volume, but that not uncommon. We're about 700 million less than we were at this time yesterday, which was kind of a light day. Of course, the question is what happens to the dollar on this one. You got a big, nasty move from just under 95. I'm going to call it 95.60 down to 95.26 right now. So got a pretty giant looking candle here intraday on the dollar. And we'll give it a little time for the rest of the stuff to settle out. Crude's already higher, natural gas lower. I don't know if you can say a whole lot more. We'll wait for everything to settle down a little bit before we get too in the crosshairs of the market. As we look at the S&P, it's up 33 points. Dow's up 377. 250 of that is Boeing and Apple. So the other 28 not doing a lot of work. I'm going to call them some slackers today. Certainly not everybody doing their fair share. NASDAQ's up 120 again. Pretty big position. I think it's 8.8% of the NASDAQ's on Apple, 10% on Microsoft. So you can see the kind of levels that are up there. But yeah, in the Dow, you've got Boeing as, I think, 10.8%. Or no, not on the Dow. You've got, I think it's 4%. And Apple's gives you another 3.5%. So it's almost 8% on that. What else do we have happening out here? Well, it's been kind of quiet. Everybody waiting for the announcements. The question is, do we see anything further here? or is this a top made by it and the market starts wondering if the real problem is underlying this market and why the Fed quit acting, which is not uncommon. I'm not forecasting, just telling you a lot of times, as soon as the market gets exactly what it wants, it gets scared. Well, we were just kidding about that. You know, actually, if the interest rates are going higher, that meant you'd think that the market's getting better. If you quit raising, that means the market may be weak. Anyway, we'll see whether they sell the news now, but like I said, it's generally not till about 3:30. There is no news conference today, so basically the statements will live on their own, but that's about it. Anyway, we'll do a little history, and then we'll start looking at the rest.
Just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 1835, in the House Chamber of the United States, President Andrew Jackson, the 7th President of the United States, survives the first attempt against the life of a U.S. president. During a funeral service honoring the late Representative Warren R. Davis of South Carolina, a man identified as Richard Lawrence discharged 2 separate pistols in the direction of President Jackson. Both weapons misfired. Lawrence was promptly subdued and arrested. Later to be found out he was a nut. They threw him in the loony bin, and he died there 20 years later. So kind of a, who was it? Squeaky Frome kind of thing. Just whack jobs. On this day in 1935. Okay, so what else do we want to get into? There was a few things where we wait for this market to kind of settle down just a little. Oh, that's what I wanted to look at. A lot of times, just little things kind of bug me. A lot of times when I see ads on products, especially I see ads on products for electronics and they're real cheap, kind of makes me think that they have sales issues. Also, when I see ads like we saw I wouldn't call ad, I'll call it a propaganda effort by Netflix for its Bird Box right around New Year's. They really wanted to get everybody fired up, and they put out this kind of phony story about don't drive your car with your blinders. Well, they're up to it again, and it makes me, I can't say that there's anything right now that really pops out in the chart, but when people really kind of do this propaganda stuff, especially when it's done poor and I can instantly see it, and I know it for what it is. Now they're trying to tell everybody not to say that some serial killer in one of their shows is sexy. No one was. And of course, you put out a few stories. Well, don't say that, right? And you make a controversy. In politics, they call this astroturfing, right? Everything's supposed to be green shoots. It actually came and it was developed out of something. Well, the truth about politics is almost all that stuff's made up. And this is not very far from that. No one was saying this guy was good looking or sexy other than the fact he was Zac Efron. So I don't know what you would say. Do you have any? Oh, there we go. Squeaky Frome, yeah. Anyway, it makes me nervous to think that they're trying to gin up issues. Maybe it's just for advertising. Who knows?
The TAS Profile Scanner is the most revolutionary piece of trading software that you will ever try. Wouldn't you like to approach the markets with confidence? As you begin your trading day, it's likely that you'll be faced with lots of decisions. In order to make the best decision, the first thing you'll need is a strategy that will help you minimize your risks. Whether we're in a bull or bear market, a good strategy is to have the tools needed to help you scan and analyze the markets before you trade. The TAS Profile Scanner instantly scans and filters over 2,500 global financial markets, such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Headed by Steve Dahl, president of TAS Market Profile, the TAS Profile Scanner understands that in today's technological world, the use of top-flight software applications, automated trading algorithms, and technical analysis expertise is essential to successful trading in today's market. Whether you're looking at the trade matrix, the ETF heat grid, the market breadth, the landscape charts, or the many other features of the TAS Profile Scanner, this is a piece of software that will revolutionize how you look at the markets and set up your trades. The team at TAS has even put together a 12-part video series to walk you through every aspect of the TAS Profile Scanner, which you can find directly on the TAS order page at TFNN.com. Sign up now for only $97 a month with a risk-free 30-day trial, so you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. See for yourself how you can harness the full power of the TAS Profile Scanner by visiting the front page of TFNN.com today, and you'll find the TAS Profile Scanner under the Services section. Remember, with a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to lose. Don't let another day pass you by without trying out this amazing piece of software that will revolutionize how you look at the market and how you place trades. Sign up today.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN has launched our brand new website. You can still visit us at the same TFNN.com URL, but when you do, you'll see a new and improved homepage with a much simpler navigation, whether you're watching Tiger TV live in high definition or just accessing your newsletter subscriptions. We even have new pricing in 6 months and yearly options. Check out the new TFNN.com now and experience all the upgrades. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Yeah, and if you looked at TLT, you'd see that, yeah, you did get kind of a big drop, and you got a great deal of that back fairly instantly. You're only off 40 cents on the TLT, and that wouldn't align with what they're saying. So I wonder how much the bond market actually believes what's going on there. But it's hard to tell. But some wacky action. Somebody said in the den that they have a weird feeling about it. Kind of like maybe there's another shoe to drop. But down 0.3% on the TLT doesn't seem to be in line unless everybody already knew that, maybe in the bond market. So we'll see. We're going to go through earnings here fairly quickly and see how they're doing. Apple didn't really promise anything more than they said. Maybe sandbag their earnings a little bit. I think the first reaction was probably right when this thing probably bounced to around $160. That it's up closer to 165 just has a lot to do with the enormous amount of shorting going into it, which I thought way overdone. When we look at Apple, it's been shorted like it's Tesla. You had several in fact, the last 3 days going into it, over 1 in 5 orders was shorting Apple going into it. So a lot of people were betting on some fairly significant downside. It really looks like it was just the last week last 10 days that people were doing it. It hadn't been that bad, but certainly last week people were going hog wild about that. And yeah, 22% yesterday. The day before that, 20%, 21.5% the day before that. Then you get back into the 24th, and it was only like 16% or 15%. So you've had a couple of runs out here where there's been some fairly high level of shorting. And if you go back to the 15th, almost 30% of the Apple shares short on a daily basis. Doesn't mean that people went home with it, but gives you an indication that people were getting fairly bearish on it. And I think that's all you got out here. I don't think that there was anything that really changed in the earnings report. But when everybody gets bearish, you normally get a bounce. And that's certainly what you got out of Apple. I don't think there's a whole lot more to there. Like I said, the initial movement on their numbers was about 158. And then CNBC had an endless parade of shills come on telling everybody why Apple still turns lead into gold. Don't pay attention to anybody. This thing can only go to the moon. They're still the biggest company in the world, which they were not. I just think, maybe we get a nice little bounce out of here for a little bit. But my guess is that this gap does get filled. And this thing is probably dead money for a while if you're talking about anything more than a day or two bounce on it. But we will see. I don't see that much. I mean, if you were looking for a company that's firing on all cylinders, probably doesn't make a lot of sense for a Boeing company that actually makes nothing but jets. But certainly you've got a big, huge doji star out here hanging right above at the 392.57 for probably 2 years. I've heard a lot of people naysay about Boeing. And again, I'm not going to short a stock that has 5 or 7 years worth of backlogs for orders. Even if they got rid of half of them, they still got 3.5 years to go. It doesn't make a lot of sense to make a short position on a company that has orders going out the yin-yang for years. That's a technical term, by the way, yin-yang. So we've gone up. We've tested the previous high within, 50 cents. We'll see what happens. You got twice the volume. But again, right there, that's where it gave it up today. You got tremendous volume. And again, this pattern of coming up and testing the previous highs and then closing back in them, sometimes on lighter volume, sometimes on more volume, seems to be a general theme in the market. And we're off 54 cents on the TLT now. So we'll keep an eye on this. We're up 45 points on the S&P cash, so we'll keep an eye on it. Those are the two major ones that everybody's talking about. We'll go through the rest. So ADP came out with some decent numbers, doesn't have decent volume. We'll watch that throughout the end of the day, but it looks like to me it could be a 618 retracement or maybe a 782 retracement when we come back. Got to 140.79 already today. Volume comes in at about 2 million shares. That comes in a lot of these days that we're down, in some cases, in 3.5 or more. And there's a day down that we had 6.6 million shares down on the 18th of December. So again, we're going higher, but it's not on a lot of energy so far. Align Technologies, after the bell last night, this one came out and was absolutely destroyed, was down around 180 at one point, 175, I think I saw ticks on it. Opened up much better, down around 208, and has actually gone higher than the last few days. This one's $230 as we last look. Maker of braces. I don't know what they said overnight. Certainly didn't happen during the earnings call, but by morning, everybody turned around on it. Maybe it was a bear trap that we can talk about. Short interest on this one, you have to really go back to about the 18th, where everybody was shorting the daylights out of this thing for a couple of days, but not all that bad. But you know what? About 4% short interest. It really didn't have that much. So maybe they are catching a few bears out here napping. AMD, their earnings call also not much of anything as far as I could tell. Just looks again like we had a lot of people probably on the wrong side of this stock. It's had a run rate of about 20% short interest every day for about a month. A lot of people want to go after. I don't short stocks after $30 or below $30. There's a reason why. and that is that it's pretty easy to run a short squeeze on everybody. When you look at the overall days to cover, this is really not that bad, but it does have 13.5% short interest on the last reporting period. That's probably a little bit more like 15. And for the most part, you want to stay out for highly shorted stocks until that short interest, if it's 45%, wait until it hits about 20%. That's generally when everybody gives up on shorting a dog. That's generally where the thing turns around. AMD, was it that good? No. Just seems to be a lot of happy talk and trying to go after some shorts, I think. But we'll see. Maybe the volume picks up by the end of the show.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get 'em, folks.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we're back. I didn't think Powell was going to talk, but apparently he's talking live now from Washington. I checked on the website just yesterday, and it didn't have a little asterisk behind it saying he was going to have a press conference. I don't know if this is something else or what, but certainly he is talking now, so keep an eye on it. We're up 40 points on the S&P cash, 421 on the Dow, and the Nasdaq's up 141. Again, we want to watch the volumes through the end of this day, but you know, it's not uncommon to see people get what they want and then get a little scared. So I'll keep an eye on it. I'm not totally sold on this yet. Amgen was off fairly strong in after hours. It's still down fairly decently around 185. Got to 179.65 after earnings last night. Earnings and volume from the downside is fairly decent. You've got a low out here that you missed by about $1 from December 24th. You're going to have that same kind of volume or more volume. The IBB was down about $1 going into the Fed. It's basically flat now. You had a bunch of biotechs, a couple of them doing better in the last few days, but a lot of them doing poor or more poorly. Anthem, which is ANTM, had a nice little spike again. All the volume that you need to break out, but not holding previous highs. The December 4th high at $300 on Anthem with 2.7 million shares. It's already got 3 million shares today, spiked to 305.99, but back into the trading range. Alibaba also out before the bell this morning. This one is up, challenging its previous high. It's got the volume it needs, but it's about $1 underneath that December 3rd high at at 168.30 with 32 million shares. Already got 29 million shares. So it's going to have plenty of volume, but stopping about $1 short of that previous high to today, 167.31. Maybe these things are waiting for Mr. Powell to get done and talking, but that would be it. He says he's seen some cross currents. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. I want him to cloud the issue with some facts, but probably won't do that. Coherent just gapped down a little bit, got a lot of volume. Last out here is 116.89, and that's just back into this sideways action that ran pretty much all of December. So not much going on in there. eBay was lower pre-market, not doing much anything now. Just going sideways after earnings on it. Can't make much about that. Lion Holdings, one of the bigger losers of the day. Not the worst, but nice little kind of doji out here that looks that. We're going to go to Mike in Toronto. How you doing, Mike?
Yeah, hi. Thanks for taking my call. Can you take a look at a couple stocks? The first one is Kirkland Lake Gold, ticker symbol KL on New York.
Is this some, what is it, like trade like 50,000 shares or something?
No, it's listed on NYSE.
Okay. You actually have a lot. I don't know why I didn't have that in
Kirkland
there.
Lake Gold.
I'm going to need to add that one. I missed it. Okay, what's your question on this?
Yeah, it's a 52-week high. Would you chase it, or where would be a good entry point to get in?
I never chase.
Never
You're
chase?
not in it now?
No.
And we're trading about 13.16. Oh no, excuse me. 13.22 on gold, up about $7.
Mm-hmm.
There's this saying. Have you ever heard the seventh wave
No.
of Elliott wave?
Yeah, I've heard of Elliott Wave. Yeah, I've studied it. Yeah.
There's not, most of it's total garbage. Nothing you can ever make any money on. It's always if or that or the other. And if you had a mirror, you could rear view mirror, you'd be a billionaire with it. But there are a couple of things I like that kind of came out in that idea of it. But one of them is, I think it's called a seventh wave. And that's where in the very last move in something like a commodity, the thing just goes up, like 0.25% a day.
Yeah.
Or 0.5%. I mean, it doesn't ever seem like there's a move that's really there.
Mm-hmm.
And that last seventh wave just goes up a little bit. Gold's kind of acting like that seventh wave. And if that was truly a seventh wave, you're now looking at, I don't know, this thing's bouncing around on me for some reason. I keep on going from, my gold quote keeps bouncing around $10 on me for some reason. But if this keeps on doing this, I would suspect that that's right. And the problem with the seventh wave is it never gives you an opportunity to get in. Never gives you a real pullback. And it just goes up a little higher for months and then years. You know, like most of them will last over a year, and then eventually goes up, and then that's it. And then that's the start of a giant bear market that lasts generally a very long time. In gold, it's been about 10 years. So depends on if you like trading gold. This may be the signal that you're going to make a lot of money if you just sit on your hands. But we shall see. I'll think a little bit more about this. But that, to me,
look at GDX.
Huh?
How about looking at the GDX?
Well, look at that. Yeah, we can do that too. But to me, if you, the only way I've ever found is not to chase it, but just slowly scale in. If it's truly one of these things that's never going to stop and it's just going to go higher, then you want to just kind of slowly scale in. So maybe a 20% position, and then a week 20%. And the idea being, if it really is one of these things that just lasts for years, that you're not going to care that you missed $20 or $30 or $40 at the bottom. You know, you're gonna have a 300 or 400 or 500 point move in it, and that's, you know, that is the way to do it. And if it comes back down, take some off.
Yeah.
You know, and just kind of add and subtract. Actually, on the street they call laddering in and out, but that would be one way to do it. The one thing that I hate about buying now is that everything that I show in my sector oscillators says these things are massively overbought. Doesn't mean that they can't stay massively overbought forever. But again, Fed decision, we'll see what it looks like by the end of the day. But my guess is, if this truly is some kind of major move, then you're just going to see it move up a little bit each day, probably 3 out of 4 days, and it's not going to be much. It's going to be a few bucks, which is like, you know, 1/4% or a 1/4%, or, you know, a 1/10%. You get 3 or 4 of those days, and you get a pullback of 0.3%. And if the thing just keeps going on, it never gives you an opportunity to get in. And that's generally the last.
Buy in 2017.
What's that?
Sounds like the S&P 500 back in 2017.
That was exactly that way. We'll be back in a second.
Hi folks, this is Tom O'Brien. If you'd like to be the bank and get the type of interest they receive instead of the low interest rates they give to clients, then I have an investment you may want to take a look at. I'm offering 4-year secured first mortgages on buildable city lots in St. Petersburg, Florida. The investment can be anywhere from $30,000 to $75,000 per buildable city lot. The interest paid is 7% per year, paid monthly. Depending on the investment, the income per month per lot ranged from $175 for a $30,000 investment to $437.50 for a $75,000 investment. If you are in the CD market, you want to look at this investment. St. Petersburg is located in Pinellas County, which is the densest county in Florida. If you're looking for an investment with your principal intact that pays a good interest rate, this may be for you. The supply is limited, so act now. For more information on these secured first mortgage opportunities, you can call me at 877-518-9190. That's 877-518-9190.
If you haven't checked out the newsletters page of TFNN.com, what are you waiting for? All of the TFNN newsletters are informative, up-to-date, affordable, and a must-have for every trader looking to gain a competitive informational edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets to offer you the very latest in market news. Plus, new subscribers get to test drive our newsletters risk-free for 30 days. From all aspects of the markets, including stocks, bonds, metals, commodities, and tech, there's a newsletter to fit your needs exclusively from TFNN. Stay informed each day you trade and get that competitive edge that will help you stay ahead of the game. Visit our newsletters page by going to TFNN.com and click the newsletters button near the top of the page. TFNN.com. educating investors.
Will the S&P 500 continue to climb? For bold trades on U.S. large-cap stocks in either direction, trade SPXL, SPUU, or SPXS. Directions Daily S&P 500 Bull and Bear Leveraged ETFs. Direction Leveraged ETFs. An investor should carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risks, charges, and expenses before investing. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a fund's prospectus and summary prospectus, call 866-476-7523 or visit directioninvestments.com. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
And having a little polite argument without being argumentative in the den here. If you say you're going to do something and you won't tell anybody what you're going to do, to me that's being a little cagey. And I thought that they would do it. We still have Mike on the line.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Hi,
Do you have anything else?
GDX, please.
What's that?
GDX, the miners index.
Yeah, I've got that up. What's your question on it?
Re-entry point.
You'd hope for 21. I mean, you just need to get over these levels that were on the 4th through the 7th of December. And that candle out here on the 28th of January, that's kind of where support lies, which would be about 2130. If you got that pullback. But again, everybody and their dog's talking about it. So I think you got the advertising part of a bull market down. And unless you get some kind of really big pullback or you see some kind of giant reverse by the Fed, I think you got the wind to your back.
Uh-huh.
So again, I'm going to probably assume that if you get I would probably start off with a small percentage and just slowly add. And if the thesis of a last wave, 7th wave in gold continues, just add as you go along. I don't think that you need to take a big splash on it, but I hate, I hate chasing stuff. It just against everything, every fiber in my body. So I like to buy on the pullbacks, but you know what? If this is it, like you said in the S&P, it just goes up a bit, up a bit, up a bit, and you just never get a chance. And generally, the only way I've been able to do it and stomach it is not going long all at once. Okay.
Would you put the contrarian view? How about shorting it? Shorting the GDX right here.
I mean, they're not going to raise rates, but certainly they're not going to drop them. So I'm not a big fan of probably shorting gold. You need to get a close back under $1,300. And I just don't see that now. The worst thing I think about gold is probably the miners themselves. A lot of them have individual problems. I kind of like favor being in gold itself, but that's just me.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
You bet. What else do we have going on here today? We're up 40 points on the S&P cash. Keep a close eye on that volume and the dollar today to see what the market's actually saying is true and what is not. The ultimate wisdom of crowds. We're cracking about 5 billion shares, so volume will be good, but doesn't look like it's going to be blow out. Maybe when the Fed gets off talking, we're back down under 95 now on the dollar. So it continues as he speaks to go lower. On the current March 19th DX contract, we're at 94.96. So it's kind of taken into view that we will have some continued easing for a while. To what else? Oh, we want to go through a few more of these earnings. Illumina, another biotech out here, a little lower. Again, even with a big bounce today, IBB's basically flat. Certainly, with Illumina, you're back into this December 24th low that had 800,000 shares with 2 million shares already. And again, too many of these patterns out here make me a bit nervous in this market, maybe why the Fed is hitting the brakes on those interest rates. Juniper Networks is another one that opened lower, has come up a little higher, but man, you got a lot of volume down here as it broke through the December 26th low in the semis. And again, maybe this is just separating the wheat from the chaff, but it becomes an issue. 12 million shares today through that low, so you're probably going to get a retest of that 24.90 low. Clack, another one in that sector, actually broke a little higher, and that is a little weaker on the volume. You were looking for probably 2.5 million shares today, and you got about 1.7 so far. You probably get 2.2, but it does look like it's going to be light on that break of the December 3rd high. McDonald's, people pigging out at the Mickey D's. This one, quite the range today, up to 188 and down to 178 earlier in the morning. Now bouncing around, kind of just down a little bit from yesterday, but quite the wide range on this one. Not exactly sure why. MKSI, which is a scientific devices manufacturer, testing its previous high. Again, like a lot of these stocks, we're going to have to wait until the last minute to see what happens, but they're challenging the December highs. This case, the December 3rd high at 81.73, got to 83.29, but does not look like it's going to close over that today. You got plenty of volume in that one. Maxim Integrated Products, another semi-manufacturer out here, down a little bit, but not bad. Just very light volume, but quite the spread in prices today. NVS. What else do we have? Novartis, again, biotech's quite flat. Earnings, I'm going to say on the most side of biotech right now, are a little disappointing. Just in this gap that started on the 8th of January, you got 2.4 million shares. On that date, today you've got about 1.8 million shares. So again, certainly look like biotech might be fine turning around as a sector in comparison strength to the rest of them, but it kind of has right here finds a lot of resistance for going higher. Packaging Corporation America came out with earnings. A lot of times the canary in the coal mine, but again, too many of these patterns out here with very light energy off that December 24th, 26 lows. In this case, it's December 24th low. You came back up toward the previous December 3rd high. You haven't gotten there yet, but you know, you got a couple, 3, 4 dojis. You got a little recovery out here today. You want to watch that one trade Thursday and Friday. PKG as canary in the coal mine. RHI, which is Robert Half International. This one, again, spikes right at the high. Looks like it might close right back underneath it, the November 8th high at 65.06. Certainly 1.7 million shares on the first one. Today you got 2.1 million shares, but whether or not it can close over that high. To Siri, S-I-R-I. I don't know if there's any future for this thing just in the trading range. SYK, which is Stryker, is one of the biotechs that has broken out. It's doing it with volume, and it's holding above the previous high by a little. This one may do it. You're at 190.60 for the high today. You need to stay above the 178.38 high of June 7th. We'll be back in a minute.
The universe provides us with opportunities all the time, and I was no different. In 2006, I invested $2,500 in a 2-day Master Trader course taught by Tom O'Brien, then ranked as the #1 market timer for gold. The fact is, if you want to be the best, you must learn from the best. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability and the Market Timer of the Year for 2018. To celebrate this accomplishment, TFNN.com is offering you a free 2-week subscription to my award-winning newsletter service, and there's no charge to you until day 15 unless you cancel sooner. That's right, we're waiving the normal upfront deposit, and this offer is available to anyone and everyone, even if you've tried Mastering Probability before. Sign up now, and I'll teach you the tool that identified the bottom in the Dow on January 26th, the morning that led to the largest daily point gain in history. This offer will expire on February 10th, so go to the homepage of TFNN.com now and click on Mastering Probability.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today. Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And we're back. We're up 48 points. And I think maybe it may have said something out there because it nice little pop. Anyway, we got an hour and 8 minutes left to go. We'll have to see how the volume actually comes in by the end of the day. Volume is picking up 5.1 billion shares. But again, a lot of these, we're back into these areas where you probably need something like 9-10 billion shares. So 5.1 billion shares by the end of the day. Might need to go into Thursday before we get confirmation on volumes on any of these. But I don't know, maybe just a lot of chop. But again, I'm not sure that the market makes its decisions like it used to, but we shall see. Anyway, after the bell tonight, we've got a few stocks to reporting. And where am I at there? Right there. Okay, there's my calendar, and there's the Wednesday. And after the bell, we've got Tesla and Microsoft and PayPal and Visa and Wynn Resorts and United Steel and Qualcomm and Cree. So we've got a handful of stocks. I think tomorrow morning, isn't that Facebook? Is it Facebook tomorrow? GE tomorrow morning, MasterCard, UPS, Celdine. So we have a lot more stocks to go. This isn't the end-all, be-all. We've at least gotten over one hump of the candle or of the camel, and the question is whether or not we get over the next hump with this next bunch of earnings over the next couple of days. But that should be about it. I think we'll at least have, while there'll be individual stocks that move the market a little bit. I think we've gotten kind of a good handle about what's going to happen, at least through this earnings season. We'll be back tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time. Remember to sell when you can, not when you have to.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.